Well, the Olympics are underway. Baseball is back from summer break. The Cleveland Indians are now the Gardens. I gotta wonder, how does Rick Vaughn feel about that? Oof. Most importantly, today we have the Stock Medic talking crypto, GE, and more. It's time for the best live show on Sunday, and this is the main event. Welcome back from vacation, Chief.
Man, it is good to be back in Studio 454.
In the actual studio?
Yeah, in the actual studio. Not have to worry about sharing the internet or kids screaming downstairs. So it's good to be
good to hear.
Well, it certainly makes for a better show.
Pat, you gonna be all right over there? You're like you're sweating. You're clearing.
See, I am. TSG has some new equipment. He's looking like a DJ with his headphones flipped down. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Hello, everyone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, Chief. So you want to introduce our first segment here, Chief?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So apparently, maybe you guys don't know this, but GE builds more than just washers and dryers. They're into all kinds of stuff.
What?
And who knew? But they announced a reverse stock split. A reverse stock split is just about to happen, or whatever that is. And crypto is all over the board. So, I mean, what better person to explain this stuff to us than the Stock Medic?
Let's bring him in.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Courtney.
Courtney.
You notice I'm wearing my Tampa Bay shirt. We are on a sports show, so I figure I'll tip my hat to you guys.
Yes.
Oh, we appreciate it.
That's a good-looking shirt. I like it.
It's a great shirt. I've got one of my own just like it.
So the Rays played today, right?
They did.
Yes.
They won?
Nope, did not win.
Oh.
They avoided the sweep of the Indians. Terrible news. Hey, so Courtney, I've got a question right out of the gate. I got an email earlier this week from GE saying that as a stockholder, my stock is about to split, and they're going to do a reverse split where I'm going to get 1/8 of a share per share that I hold. And that sounded not so great to me. Should I buy more or sell what I've got? Tell me.
All right, I'll tell you. So before we do that, I'm going to give you guys a brief history of GE real quick, okay? Number one, they were founded in 1892 in Schenectady, New York. Nice piece of history. Thomas Edison, J.P. Morgan, and Eli Thompson started GE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. They're in many businesses, financial, their segments, power generation, 7 or 8 different businesses, large company. And there is going to be a 1-for-8 reverse split, but they've split since then 7 times. Since
their inception.
Founded,
okay. I thought you meant since Tuesday when I got the
email. No. They split 7 times. Started in 1971. They started doing splits.
Okay.
So, over time, as a company does a split and then a split and a split, it creates more shares. So this is your regular split, right? So if a company starts with 1 million share and they do a 2-for-1, well, now they'll have 2 million shares and so on. The problem with GE now, they have over, I believe, 1.8 billion shares. I got to double check that, but their share count is in the billions. Okay. So what they're attempting to do is to bring the share count down from, I believe, 6 billion to about, 1 point something billion shares. And that's their attempt to bring the share count down. So that's why they're doing a reverse split. So if you have, so 1 for 8. So if you have 8, you're going to get 1. So if you have 1,000 shares now, then, when it splits, you're only going to have about 200 shares or so, according to the math, right? But the price will then go up because what they're attempting to do is bring the price up over $100. And that's actually what they're attempting to do. Bring the float down, which is the number of shares, and bring the price up from $12.71 where it's at now.
Well, now the email did say they were going to guarantee the price on split day. So I think it was August 2nd was the split day. And so the price per share when it goes to 1/8 of a share would stay the same. But obviously with all stocks, there's no guarantee what happens after that. Your perception or thought is it's going to go higher.
No. So a stock split does not change the value of the company.
Correct.
So if the stock was worth $1 pre-split and they did a 10-for-1 split, the stock is still worth $1. The price of the stock
each share
doesn't really change. You don't make more money because the stock splits.
No, understood. And that was clear in the email. My question is, you're prognosticating that it's going to go over 100, where it's only at 12.71 now. I think is what the closing price was on Friday. So if you have 1 share and they're going to give you 8 for your 1. Well, they're not going to give me 8 for my 1. They're going to give me 1/8 of a share for my 1.
1/8 of a share for your 1. So the
Correct.
price is going to go up. The price is not going to go down because the price is going to be 8 times larger or 7 times larger than the current price.
Okay.
Right?
So, Courtney,
So
my question about this is, okay, so I understand that 8-to-1 reverse buy is going to take the stock price. Right now it's about 12.71. So let's make the math easy and say 12. Okay, so an 8-to-1 reverse split, it goes from $12 a share to $96 a share. But you have fewer shares. Okay. So
exactly.
you still have the exact same money in play, but just fewer shares to play with. That happened to me. I own Citi, and they did that to me a couple of years ago. But Citi did theirs back, and we went from $6 a share to $60 a share, which I always thought was the sweet spot for someone to be in. But now GE is trying to make theirs, go over $100 a share, which used to be the split price. So what is happening in the market that people are finding these, expensive shares to be attractive? Because how many shares can you buy for $100? Like the average guy, probably can't hold a bunch. I think it's fun to own, you can say, man, I own, 100 shares or something. But all of a sudden that's almost unattainable. But
to your point, Chief, there's not a whole lot of people carrying around 100 shares of Tesla or Apple.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, people have fractional shares on it. So I'm wondering, what do you think, Courtney? You think that the $100 is that the new $30? That the stock market finds that attractive?
So it's going to go to $101.06 is what it's going to go to, right?
Okay.
But the point of the reverse split is to bring the float down.
Got it.
Okay. That's the whole point behind that, to reduce the number of shares that's there. Because, I think in 99, they did a 5-for-1 split, so what they're trying to do is reverse that and bring the float down, bring the number of available shares down to about 1 billion. And which will be about the same as JP Morgan and other large conglomerates out there, that they're just trying to bring it back into.
What is the strategy behind that though? Why does a company care how many available shares are on the market? What I have holdings in this particular stock, and I notice on most days it trades more shares than most of the other stuff that I have holdings in. So I'm just curious. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm just curious.
Okay, so I have a lead on that. So if they can get it to $100, number one, they can move the stock easier. It's easier to move 1 billion shares or 1.5 billion shares than 6 billion shares. Okay, so when folks are buying and selling, the stock can move in more dynamic fashion because you have less shares, versus when you have this huge amount of shares. It's like trying to turn around a big boat. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
But if you bring your share count down, on Friday, they traded 37,779,000 shares. So, and you would think that's a lot of shares, but that's actually on a low day. They actually trade 2 or 3 times more than that on many days.
So, Court, so if you want it into the company, just to make an example, if I walk into your donut shop and I'm like, ooh, I want one of those donuts, but I can't just buy one of those donuts. I got to buy 6 of them.
Yes.
Right. And of course that benefits the donut shop because we don't sell them in ones. We sell them in 6. Right. Which is 1 share, I guess I'm getting at. So is that what that does? So now in GE, man, I really want a GE share, but now, I mean, if you're going to buy in, you're buying in at 100, not 12.
So if we're talking shares, you're going to buy 8 donuts, right? And today, and then on Tuesday, your 8 donuts will be 1 donut. Okay. It'll still cost you the same. Nothing will change. And they'll add up the price for 8, but it'll still be 1 if you were to transfer.
Well, listen, I don't know about stocks, but 8 donuts certainly sounds better than just 1 donut. I don't know how that equates to stocks or anything, but
I guess what I mean is maybe a better analogy would be if I took all those donuts and the dough that we would have used and made 1 big donut, right? Yeah. So now that big donut is like this size, right? It's still 8 donuts, right? But now it's this size. It benefits the donut company because now when you come in, you want 1 donut. This is the smallest one I got, brother.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you want 100 shares, buy 800 shares tomorrow, and on the 2nd you'll have your 100 shares. If you want 200 shares, buy 1,600 shares tomorrow, and on the 2nd you'll have your 200 shares.
So do you have any advice as far as is now the time to buy or is now the time to sell GE?
Okay.
Good
question. I don't believe it's the time to sell it because there's a strategy behind why they're doing this reverse split. Okay. In fact, I was looking at some option trades. I was looking at some unusual activities in the markets and on GE. And there are guys who are buying GE now. And, when we're trading options, you have different verbiage, right? You have out of the money, in the money, at the money. You can buy a call, you can buy a put. Calls, you want it to go up, or you believe it's going to go up. Puts, you believe it's going to go down, right? So, or you can buy it, and you can also put a strike date. You can say, well, in September 30th, I believe GE is going to be at $10. So that would be your strike date, right? There are guys that are buying GE now in thousands and thousands of shares, call options contracts for 2023 for GE in the money calls at $10. That's a bullish play. So the stock is trading at 1271. They're buying calls at 10. So they're buying calls below the current price. So these guys are building in premium right away into this trade. And these guys are putting the trade out for 2 years out to 2023. You don't put that kind of money into a stock if you don't believe that the price is going to be higher in the future. 2 years out, that's quite a look. So I actually believe, and from what I've read and from my technical look at it, this is actually pretty bullish for you guys that are holding GE shares.
I like the sound of that.
So you should buy it. definitely don't sell it. In fact, on 4 days ago, GE was at $12. Real nice support level at $12. Strong. Every time it gets to $12, it goes right back up. Large buyers came in on Tuesday at $12, pushed the thing up to $12.75. And on Friday, it closed at $12.71, but it went all the way up to $13. Big volume, lots of buyers, and it's been nothing but green bars since then. So I would feel confident to buy more of this thing. They believe it's good. And you got to realize they've been also, they had a lot of divisions, and they've been selling off, these divisions.
Yep.
So you may look at the balance sheet and you'll notice that their revenues are going down, but the revenues are going down because they're selling those divisions.
Right.
So they're not
the losers.
Right. So they're not getting any revenues. And some of them were winners, but it just wasn't winning big enough for them.
Yeah.
They're trying, trying to shift their business and make a more streamlined company. I think you're good with GE. I actually think you could get $14 out of it pretty soon. I'm looking at, there's a resistance at $14.25 that it has to break through. But I think once it gets through $14.25, it can really go higher in a breakout.
So that it's interesting that you say it that way, because I've had holdings in GE since sometime last summer. And part of the reason I was attracted to it was because it was trading in the sixes at the time. And I thought to myself, this is a massive company that has been an American staple forever. This seems like a cheap buy. And that was why I bought it. And then I started having some early success with it, and I went further in on it. So it sounds pretty interesting to me. I've never had a holding like this that had a reverse, but I had one back at the beginning of the year that had a split. And I was up big in that stock at the split. And today I'm in the red on it. It went in the opposite direction on the split.
Right. Because, that stock which stock was that?
It was EXP. It's a real estate holding company.
Okay. So
EXPI, I believe, is the symbol, Courtney.
Well, what I'd like to say is that the chief is really smart with finances, and he's
Did we lose Courtney? I thought it was me. I'm like,
he was back. He's gone.
There you go. Don't touch it.
Am I here?
Go. Yep.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we got you. We lost Pooh Bear though. I don't know where did Pooh Bear go, but
Technical difficulties. Okay, so we were looking at EXPI, right? And we're having that discussion.
Yep.
Okay, so what we do here at the Stock Medics is that we look for stocks that are bouncing off the bottoms, stocks that are breaking out, and stocks that are breaking resistance. So a lot of the times, like we're playing right now, Facebook, what happens is the stock runs up into that split, and people are buying it. We just did that with NVIDIA, and the split gets announced and people buy it and buy it and buy it. And the thing goes up 20, 30, 40, 50% before the split happens. So when the split happens, folks are going to take that money. Okay. Traders are going to take that money. We're going to take that money off the top. The difference with GE here is there's no real run up into that earnings yet. It bounced off of 12, but now it's only sitting at 12.71. So I don't think you're in that danger. If it was trading at $14 right now, I would say you may want to look to take some money off the table at that split. And definitely, if it makes it over $15 pre-split for some reason, you may want to take some off. But, yeah.
Courtney, I had one other thought on the reverse split. And that's, right. I don't like day trading. I like to buy it and hold it.
Diamond hands.
Pet it, water it, watch it grow. Anyway, so here's what happens. Right now, when you get a company, you get 100 shares. You have 100 shares and you get a dividend that gets paid. You get paid a dividend for every single one of those shares that gets paid. Okay. And then you do a 10-to-1 reverse. Let's just use 10-to-1 because the math is easy. So now it's 10-to-1 reverse split. I only have 10 shares. Okay. So now I'm only going to get paid that dividend on 10 shares, even if they double the dividend. If they double it, so you think that you're getting a ton, like, hey, look at us, they're doing great. I'm actually receiving less money than I was, before. So I just wonder, because if before I was going to receive, let's say I was going to receive $1 a share and I had 100 shares, that would have been $100. And then if they do a 10-to-1 reverse split, now I only have 10 shares and they're going to double it. They're going to say, we're going to give you $2, instead of getting 100, now I'm only going to get $20 in dividend payments. So I'm wondering if they think that, what they're going to do, because I see GE only paid a penny per share in dividends. So, I mean, any significant bounce up is going to be, you can pay a dime per share, which when you have, how many billions they had 6 billion shares. I mean, that's a lot of money at that point, but when you put out, even if they do it, they can do 100%, markup on their dividends paid, which looks great on paper, but if you do an 8-to-1 reverse split, you're actually going to receive, less money than you had done before. So I don't know. I guess I think, that what I hear you saying is proceed with caution on GE, because I hear you saying, it's going to go to 100, just over $100 a share or $14, but there's some resistance there. So, just be careful, moving. Is that, because you're not saying this is a home run by any way. Am I right on that?
So 2 points, right? The first point would be they're doing the split, but that doesn't change your dividend. Your dividend just gets multiplied the other way, but it's going to be the same dividend. And if you're playing GE for the dividend, you're in the wrong stock, because it's a 0.31% yield. You can go and put your money in the bank and probably get
a higher yield than that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not playing GE for the dividend. You're playing it for the growth.
Yeah. Good point.
And according to what I'm reading, the growth so if it gets to 101 when it splits, the price target is actually 107 at today's price. So traders are saying it's going to go to 107 or higher. So if you see it at 107 post split, maybe a good time to think about taking some profits. I don't think you need to worry about GE where it's at now, because there was no pre-split run-up. There wasn't a 20, 30, 40, 50% run-up pre-split where guys like me are going to sell it because we just made a ton of money on those options. I think it's a safe stock. I actually think in the future, and from what I've been looking at, the option chains, there's some big bets that GE, after they've closed these divisions and turned around the earnings, and the earnings is going to be very important for you holders to pay attention to. Pay attention to, their cash flow. Pay attention to their debt. Are they reducing that debt? Because that's the big thing. We know they're selling divisions. What does their cash flow look like? And what does their debt look like? And how easy it is for them to restructure these debts and get loans at the current rate, because it's pretty cheap for a company right now to get a loan.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to worry. I just think you should look at the earnings report, pay attention to that. And if that's positive, then you keep holding the stock and, maybe even add more to it. It's hard to buy it at $100. You get more for it at 12, but it really is the same thing in the bottom line. Does that make sense?
It does. That's a lot to digest. I will not lie to you, my man. So,
what can I clear up?
I think I got it. I understand, the reverse splits and doing that. So I think it's just time to where are we at here with the it's just time to do homework. Time to do homework on GE is what I'm trying to
Yeah, and I've done the homework, and I think you guys are safe. If you have it, don't worry about selling it. If you get a big run up after the split, then maybe you want to take profits. But where it's at right now, guys are buying it, and they're buying it for it to go higher. So no worries there. And if you want to buy a lot of shares, buy it before the split, because mentally you'll be buying them at $12 and change.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, Courtney, listen, man, we had hoped to get into the weeds of crypto, but I don't own any crypto, so I'm not that worried about it. And we are out of time.
So Here's my quick DD on crypto, right?
Yes.
If you see it at 30,000 Bitcoin, buy it. If you see Ethereum below 2,100, buy it. Bitcoin Classics, buy it. Ethereum Classic, buy it. Bitcoin Silver, buy it. Bitcoin Cash. If you can buy crypto now and dollar cost average, you want to see it go down so you can buy more, because the biggest players in the games are meeting. Kathy Wood just met with Elon Musk and somebody else last week, and they were talking about crypto and how they can take advantage of crypto. So what happens right now is crypto seems like it's asleep. It seems boring, but really it's actually trending back up. It's back. It's back real quick. I'll look at this chart before I let you guys go. I'm pulling up a chart of Bitcoin. It's at 34,827. 5 days ago, it was at 29,300. So we went from 29,300 to almost 35. If it breaks through 35, then 40 is your next stop. So you really should be buying crypto here, not being afraid of crypto here. So buy GE, buy crypto. They're both going to make, and keep buying Square, Chief. I know that Square is paying you big.
Square's done okay. It's done good. So hey, I took some notes here, and what I got out of this segment was in 1892, Courtney bought 6 donuts and didn't give any food. Does that pretty much sum it up, guys?
I love it. I love it.
Courtney, we will see you next time. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you
Thanks,
guys
Courtney.
for having me. And don't forget, football season. I will pick your winners. We'll do 3 a week. We'll pick those winners, okay?
All right, I like it. I like it.
like it.
You guys have a great day.
Take care.
See ya.
Pooh Bear, welcome back to the show.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, where's Pooh?
I had like the chief IT department over here or something. It was ridiculous.
No, you don't. If you had the chief IT department, you'd still be out.
Well,
That
hey,
was
listen,
brutal.
let's roll right from the stock medic into you can't fix stupid for the week. Pooh Bear, fire it up. All right, so one of you shared a story this week from, I don't know where you shared it from, but the story was about somebody going skinny dipping.
It was a Florida man, or actually a Florida woman. Florida man's home. Florida guy comes home from a doctor appointment thinking, whatever, sit down and watch a ball game, whatever he's going to do. Looks out in his backyard and he sees clothes laying around, and there's 42-year-old Heather Kennedy floating around in his pool naked.
Hey, not unattractive, by the way. You know, from her mugshot.
Yeah.
you went and checked out her mugshot.
It was on the story. It was on the
I'm looking at it right now. It's not entirely unattractive, but
not unattractive.
But these are the types of things. This is kind of like the nude beach, right? It's never what you think it's going to be.
Right.
We all have an idea of what we want it to be in our head, but when you see it, it's not anything like that. The people that like to be nude are not the people you want to see nude. So, and that's kind of where this lands.
What was there alcohol involved? Like, how did this woman just decide, hey, I'm going to go swimming in somebody else's pool and do it without clothes?
Pure speculation. I think we're going to go above alcohol. We're going to go.
Uh-oh. I think the Pooh Bear is having more I think he's having more problems. Pat, also, we can't hear you.
Good night.
Perfect opportunity to fill in for him right here. So Pooh Bear's in that pause mode there. I love it. So I think he was gonna say an overabundance of marshmallows. Oh,
okay. Marshmallows.
All right, I'm just saying.
Marshmallows. Oh wow.
What's going on with my?
It was an M word. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Wow. Did the M come out?
Man, we are having all kinds of technical difficulties. So I don't know that any time listen, first of all, it's one thing to go swimming in somebody's pool. It's a completely else's pool. It's a completely other thing to do it, naked. And then to have to go to jail for it, right? Because everybody's going to find out that you got arrested, and why you got arrested. That's pretty embarrassing.
Something tells me this is not going to be her first time in jail.
Not her first time in jail.
Probably not.
What's this world coming to? You can't, you go and swim in one person's pool that you don't know naked, and you're going to jail. I mean,
right?
Listen, when I was a teenager and in high school, we used to run through what is today the Chiefs neighborhood.
Yep.
And Pooh Bear, you did it with me. We would go pool hopping. We would just run, jump in somebody's pool, jump out the other end, run to the next one.
Sure would. Now they put up screens and fences and bushes.
Yeah, now they made it a little harder.
Terrible.
So I don't know if you could count. Well, I guess some would say that this is also a you can't fix stupid topic. But this week, the Cleveland Indians announced that they're changing their name to the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
The Guardians of what? What the
Cleveland?
Diamond? I don't know. The Guardians of
like
Cleveland?
nobody wants Cleveland. Nobody wants to go to Ohio and take Cleveland. I'm not sure what they're guarding, but
are they going to be like mall cop Guardians?
Ooh, that's their logo.
Is it really?
They're on a Segway or something. That would be their.
No,
could they do like the mall cart deal with a Segway? Out to the batter's box. That'd be hilarious. If they took that type of.
So that the Cleveland Indians have had 3 other names that only lasted a year. One of them was the Naps, one of them was the Broncos, and another was the Blues. Each of those only lasted one year. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Turn of the century type stuff here.
Interesting. Well, hey, at least they picked a name that, where like Washington is just the Washington football team. At least they picked another name.
Right.
What's worse?
And that starts soon. We still don't know their name.
Yeah.
I don't know that they intend to change that.
These teams are just getting away from referencing Native Americans, period. Because, the Cleveland Indians, there's nothing derogatory about that name. And you're basically saying, you're making it your logo. It's kind of a compliment. We're the Cleveland Indians.
That's what I would, I would think too, Pat. I think, and listen, I'm not American Indian, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would have to think that should be something I would be proud of. And to kind of make that point, I went and did a little bit of research on some other professional sports teams that maybe should consider a name change because it might be insensitive. So how about the San Francisco 49ers?
Change it to the 69ers?
I'm just saying, the 49ers.
I don't know.
We lost Pooh Bear again.
What would be?
I'm not saying that I don't know what you would change it to, Chief. I'm just saying that they are named after a segment of people who were miners, correct?
Right.
The 49ers were miners.
So they're bringing attention to an era. Okay.
Yeah. How about, here's one that's close to home. How about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Pirates.
Right?
I could see where some people could be offended about the Pirates, with the swashbuckling and there's the shenanigans that happened in port allegedly. But you know what? We take that to pride, man. So I don't think that's changing.
Captain Jack, he might be upset about this.
Oh my gosh,
Captain Jack Sparrow.
The day that you thought you had captured Jack Sparrow.
There you go. How about this? How about in hockey, the Ottawa Senators? Are there not Senators? Yeah, right. Or how about this? How about the Green Bay Packers?
Dude, why do they have to be green, by the way?
Well, that's a city.
Be the Blue Bay Packers.
I'm just saying that's their city. How about here's one: the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Okay,
yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
the Milwaukee Brewers. How about this one: the Texas Rangers, or the Houston Texans. Well, those are what I'm getting at is like those are all mascots, and maybe outside of the Buccaneers, that you should be proud of the representation.
Right. Well, it's gotten so bad that now you have to pick a pretend thing. The Kraken. Last time I checked, the Kraken's not real. I mean, you're not going to offend. Who are you going to offend? You guys from Looney Tunes? I don't know, man. But I mean, there's no real Kraken there. That's what you got to go with. I mean, so maybe the Cowboys become the Pegasus or something. I don't know.
I don't know. How about the New York Yankees?
Oh, you're gonna have a fight on your hands. I guarantee you that one's not.
I'm not offended by the Yankees one bit.
Yeah, I think that I get the Redskins. I mean, you're referring to a skin. I get that one, but anything else, I don't. I think it's a little. But like you said earlier, I'm not Native American, so I don't know. I haven't talked to a bunch of them and said. Into which they've said something like, hey, listen, don't reference us. We don't want to be referenced at all. If they've said that, okay. But otherwise, like you said earlier, I think it's a compliment.
So a compliment, but if you've never been to Cleveland, I don't think there's like teepees, sitting around Cleveland because it's an era gone past. This actually reminds people that this was, Indian territory, by saying, they were here, before us. I would say it just brings attention to the fact that the Indians were here first, and now that's being pushed aside. Right,
you're erasing history there a little bit. I would think you'd want to bring more attention to that area. I mean, the Fighting Irish. I love that. I love that name.
Yeah.
I'm Irish.
I mean, I think throughout sports we could identify. I mean, obviously, I was kind of poking fun at it, but throughout sports we could identify things that what were probably meant to be something of pride has now been taken away. The offended generation is what they should start calling us.
Pooh Bear, I think, has got some ideas for a better name.
So, I didn't have as much of a problem with the fact that they changed their name to what they chose. That, to me, is problematic. It's a stupid name. The Guardians? So apparently it's in reference to a bridge. There's a bridge with some sort of a guardian figure on it, and the governor or the mayor said, hey, that'd be a good one. But, so you're changing it from Indians to be less offensive. Is tribe, which is kind of their nickname, is that still offensive? Is that not allowed? I thought that would be a good one. Or maybe take a name or take it from your mascot, who's Chief Wahoo, and call yourself the Wahoos, right? I thought that'd be pretty cool. If you want to stay with the Native American theme and yet be more prideful, how about just changing it to the Americans? That's available. That used to be a name. I think it was a Baltimore team called the Americans. Don't see a problem with that. That'd be patriotic. You're still referencing the Native Americans, the indigenous folks that were here. That'd be good. Or if you wanted to go with like the chief said, the inanimate objects. Why the Guardians? Why not the Titans or the Colossuses or something? The Gladiators, something that's just better. Just Guardians sucks.
Something cool like a sloth.
Oh my gosh!
Or a dinosaur.
How about the Sluggers? Something like that.
Go. Something baseballish. Yeah.
Cleveland Sluggers, man. I take that. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, keeping along the baseball theme, the Rays came into today with a 5-game win streak. Ended up losing today. Cleveland, the Indians avoid the sweep. And despite, Yarbrough had an amazing outing today. He goes 7 innings. And then, our bullpen, which is amazing, gives up a couple runs and we end up losing the game. But some big news this week. The Rays trade for Nelson Cruz. And he makes an impact immediately. He's hit 2 dingers in 3 days. How do you guys feel? Are you guys excited about the Nelson Cruz thing, or where's your head at?
Yeah, he's professional hitter, man. He's a professional hitter. Let's see it.
Yeah, his batting average I think is just under 300. That's a guy that we need, badly right now. Didn't cost us that much to get him, I don't think.
No.
The 2 prospects they gave up, matter of fact, one of them was pitching game 1 of the base for USA Baseball in the Olympics. Pretty good prospects they got in return. So I would argue they did give up something, especially for a player you're only going to have for 3 months.
Well, I think you want listen. I'm not upset to have him here, but I think one of the things to consider is that he is a DH,
Right.
He's not going to play in the field. And so that's taking at-bats away from somebody. And I think right now that's going to be Yanni Diaz and G-Man Choi. Probably one of those two guys would be out of the lineup daily for Nelson Cruz to get at-bats. Neither one of those guys are horrible hitters.
No, and what they've done so far is they've actually pulled that. So Austin Meadows and Randy Arozarena were really the DHs that they've been using. So they've been playing the outfield these past couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
So and they've kind of been rotating some of the infielders. Brandon Lau has sat a couple of times. You're not seeing Brett Phillips is kind of cycling in with Kiermaier. So that's the sacrifice they've made. We'll see how it goes moving forward.
How about the other trade this week, Rich Hill? A starting pitcher in our starting rotation being traded for. I mean, really, we didn't get much for him.
No, that was a shocker.
Yeah, Rich Hill. I mean, look, the reality is he's 41.
He's Tom Brady.
But so Tom Brady, not Tom Brady. I get it.
Tom Brady -2.
Dude, he was running on empty. He's running on empty. You know, his best days are way behind him. You know, I get it. You know, he was feeling a role right now, but I'm okay with. I feel like maybe he was getting tired. You know, and at this point in the season, I don't know how much further he could have gone into the season. I think we got all we were going to get.
You think they got all the goodie out of him they were going to get?
Yeah, there's a little tread left, but not much. You know, there's certainly not October tread in there.
Well, I think one of the things you have to consider is to trade away starting pitching, which is a big deal for a playoff contender, which the Rays are. Mm-hmm. You've got to feel good then about getting Morton or not Morton, Glasnow, or Archer back pretty soon.
Yes, Archer. I mean, he's the missing man. Where's that guy been? Since day one.
He's thrown one inning, I think, all season.
One inning, but we thought he was coming back. Right before the All-Star break. There were rumors of him, throwing again.
Well, he's had a couple of appearances at Durham, and they have not been great. So evidently he's still working on some things. Not sure his timeline and his timeline for effectiveness. There's a timeline to be on the team, and there's a timeline to be effective with Major League pitching, and that's remains to be seen.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping this is a start of some good things for the Rays because after that big, what did they have, like a 12 or 13 game win streak? They went up big time. In the American League. In fact, at one point they had the best record in all of baseball, I believe. And then they've been very inconsistent since then. And so to just come off of a 5-game win streak, I mean, you can't lose them all. I'm not, going to be like they're horrible. I can't believe they lost today. But my feeling is with all of these trades, I didn't necessarily think we needed a bat. I was looking more for, I think we need pitching, specifically the bullpen late inning guys.
I think starter would be more advantageous at this point. I think they need starting pitching, which is I've been on the bandwagon for Max Scherzer. But I mean, right now it's all about finding the pieces that management feels they need. They're going to make the right moves. I trust them. They know more about baseball than any of us combined. So we'll see. But I don't think they're done yet. I think this is just the beginning. The speculation on when did Hill get traded? Thursday or Friday?
I think it was Thursday.
Thursday, maybe. I think it was Friday. It was Friday. The speculation then was that this was the precursor to something else. Like this was a move to make a move. So maybe they're still working on that.
The other thing to consider is that you can only get players that are available. I mean, it's, so, I mean, if a team's not willing to give up a starter or they're not willing to, put a guy out there, you've got to make the best move with what is available. And, this may be it for the Rays.
Yep. And you're competing with other teams that are contending. So, you're making offers for a single player, let's say Scherzer. The Nationals want probably a nice return for him. Mm-hmm. And so the Padres are going to be involved in that. The Yankees, the Red Sox, the Braves, you're competing against all those teams. The Mets, they're looking for pitching to make your offer to get that guy, and you may not have the best offer.
Yeah. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got their Super Bowl rings this week. What did you guys think about them?
I want one. That's what I thought. That sucker's nice.
PSG, you're on mute, my man.
Greatest Super Bowl ring ever made.
That's your thought on it?
No, you saw the inside?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of gaudy. I actually don't
definitely gaudy.
I do not like the removable top. And I know that makes me a homer, but
man, I could fit a Skittle in there or something, you know?
Little peanut M&M.
Yeah. You never know when you're going to need it.
You could put a couple of dollars in there for a tip for the doorman when you go out. That's how big that thing is.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Did you see Tom with like all of his rings? Ooh. And that one was like sticking out like I don't want to say sore thumb, but it was the biggest one.
Hey, you know what I got from that picture when he was holding up his hands?
He had missing fingers.
He's got an empty finger. He's got one empty finger.
One empty finger. He's got to fill
Let's go.
Let's go.
So did y'all see the breakdown of the meaning behind some of the meanings behind the ring?
Right. Yeah. With the score.
319 diamonds on it. 319, by the way. That's a lot of diamonds.
Yep.
You know, and that represents a score of 31-9. Mm-hmm. There's 2 diamonds on the front, and then one of those represents each of the Super Bowls that Tampa has won. Steve Weintraub. Steve Weintraub from the Golden Diamond Source appraised the rings. What do you guys? Do y'all know what he appraised that ring for?
I heard they were somewhere around 35,000.
I heard 32.
He appraised them at $35,000.
There you
go. 35,000 times 52-man roster plus coaching staff.
A lot of
We're gonna need a stock medic back to figure that out. So, how many shares of GE do you got to sell to get one of those?
A lot.
More than I own.
Yeah.
But an exciting news too with that is the Bucs open training camp. This weekend as well.
Today.
And here's the crazy thing. Like preseason football's right around the corner, guys.
Next week. We get a game next Sunday.
I mean, this is excellent.
1 of 3 games. Just 3. That's all we get. Just 3 this year for preseason.
Yep.
I saw though there were some injuries, and of course the biggest one for me is that Cameron Brate
That's your guy.
I know Brate is great, man. He will not be starting the season. He has an injury, a knee injury. He'll be out. He's also the guy that caught the trophy when Tom threw it across the boat. So
that's the guy. He's got the hands.
He's got the hands. So. Yeah. Yep. So, anyways, exciting for football to be cranking up here. And obviously, it sounds like we got a I didn't even know that, Pooh Bear. We got a preseason game next weekend.
It's not a Bucs game, but there is a preseason football game.
Okay.
The Hall of Fame game.
I was going to be premature to say, what are we doing next weekend?
No. I think the Bucs' first game is next Thursday.
Okay, so our families have a little bit of time until they lose us regularly on Sunday afternoons.
Yes.
So or Monday nights.
The countdown is or Monday nights. The countdown is on. So making it full circle, we're going to flip to the NHL. Never any fear of us talking about the NBA. So we're going to cover all the major U.S. sports teams or sports leagues today. The Kraken, the Seattle Kraken. What is a Kraken, by the way?
It's like a giant octopus that eats sailors.
Yeah, mythical water dragon with arms.
Okay. So the Seattle Kraken have the expansion draft this week. And I just care, other than obviously we lose Yanni Gourde, and we had some conversations on the show last week of what direction we thought the Kraken would go with the unprotected players we have. I don't believe any of us had Yanni. You did, Pooh Bear? You had Yanni?
Yeah. I can roll the tape.
Yeah, I didn't put it on tape, but we were talking about it at the station, and I said they're taking Yanni. He's the best player up there, and he is. Why wouldn't you? He's young, and the guy is amazing. He is. They call him the buzzsaw because he never stops going. He's a force, and he had 80 points during the season.
I was also talking about this with my wife, and I had Yanni going as well. I mean, it's not on tape, but I said, Yanni's gone. And Lisa said the same. She said the same. She says, I'm positive they're going to take Yanni. Everyone knew they were taking Yanni.
Broke my heart. There's only one other guy on that team that has a higher salary than him. So,
on the Kraken.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was interesting. We were talking a little bit in the green room before he came on. It's like, they didn't really take any big names. They were very conservative with some of the unprotected players that were out there. And I know some of the teams used the salary cap to their advantage to put big salaries out there to be able to protect other players they wanted to. And that's a risk that paid off for everybody.
Yeah.
Teams were smarter this time around. So it was more difficult for this expansion team, i.e. the Kraken, to, make their picks. Vegas, man, it was gravy for them. It really was. And they talked about it and they said these GMs got smart and they've had a little bit of time and they knew this was coming. So they prepared. And so it was much harder for this expansion team to and they got criticized, like you guys said earlier. They got criticized for not taking more players, but some better players. I mean, the only other guy on there they got a defenseman who's a little over $6 million a year defenseman from Calgary Flames. He's a pretty good player. But they didn't take Price.
Okay, Price, yeah.
Price was out there, and they didn't take him at $10 million.
It's $10 or $11 million salary. It's a huge chunk, but
they made the Canadians made a big deal leading into the expansion draft that he was hurt, but hadn't they hadn't really fully disclosed what sort of off-season surgery he was going to have. I don't know. Maybe that was strategy.
Yeah. And there was some other strategy too. So the Lightning did not protect David Savard, who's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So he was at the end when free agency starts. So he was available for the Kraken to take, but that would have been a wasted pick because he could have signed with another team.
Correct. Yep.
But the Kraken could also sign him once free agency starts for a much lower rate. So there was some mental gymnastics going on behind the scenes. The draft still hadn't happened yet, which they drafted second overall on this past Thursday, after the expansion draft. So there's a lot of mental gymnastics happening, a lot of fiduciary type stuff going on in the background that we don't even know about.
So the goaltenders that they took were, I'm reading it right here, is Chris Driedger, maybe, Vitek, Vanacek, and Joey Decord. Between the three of them, none of them have been full season NHL starters and only have 84 games between them, with nearly all of them coming this past season. That is the one player, because you need a goalie like a football team needs a quarterback. That's the guy you spend the money on. Look at Vazzy. Look what he's done for us, man. Vazzy has saved us so many times when we weren't playing at our best, and they failed to take a solid goalie. And I'm going to tell you what, how many teams out there had 2-3 solid goalies on their team that they put them in against us, and these guys just play as good as the first stringer.
Yeah.
One of them, Vanacek from Florida, he was the one taken that we just talked about. So, I mean, that's kind of right there, fits your argument that you need multiple goalies. He was one of them that did an efficient job against
that's true.
the Lightning. So,
Yep.
Yeah. So we also, obviously we talked right after the Stanley Cup win that the Tampa Bay Lightning would look much different in the upcoming season than they just did. And so we lose Yanni Gourde, and Bradley Goodrow leaves this week as well. What other changes do you foresee coming?
Well, Killorn, we're probably going to see Killorn. He's probably going to be out of here. He's an older player. And he's going to require some big money, unless he's going to, pull a Tom Brady and take a lesser paycheck. Not many people do that. These guys don't make quite the money that, NFL, MLB, and basketball players make. So, they've got to provide for their families. So I don't see him doing that. And somebody's going to sign him because he's a very crafty. He's a big player. He is what made one of the people that made our power play so great. When he dropped out of the power play from that injury, did you notice that we didn't
quit scoring?
We quit scoring. That was because of him. He's very crafty.
So yeah, he's probably going to leave. You're probably going to see Savard leave, who I mentioned earlier was an unrestricted free agent. I got a feeling that Blake Coleman's probably going to get a big payday as well. He's a free agent. So yeah, you're going to see quite a bit. I think the first and second lines are going to be okay. And the first two pairings on defense are going to be okay, but your third and fourth line are going to look much different coming up next year. And
we've got a lot of forwards coming up. We got plentiful forwards. I think you're going to see. The good thing about this is I like to see new blood, fresh blood, because it makes you hungry. And it makes the older guys who've been around who won play harder, because you got these new guys that are coming in to vie and take your job and move up that chain in the lines. So I think I mean, Chief used to do this at the fire station. He'd bring in new rookies, man, push us guys a little harder. If you didn't want to get pushed out of that station, and work with a great crew, you step up, because here comes this new guy in here, man, and he's working his booty off.
I like it.
All right, so we have just a couple of minutes left here with the show. I figured we'd end on the Olympics. The Olympics started I think we're in day 2 right now. What have you guys had a chance to watch? Have you caught anything on TV yet?
I got all excited last Saturday night, last night. There was some volleyball on, beach volleyball. I was like, yes, beach volleyball, one of my favorites. And it was the dudes. Well, I'll have to watch it. And they lost. They lost to the Netherlands, man. I'm like, what the heck?
That doesn't feel like a team we should lose to in beach volleyball.
Well, it wasn't the only American pairing. It was, I think, the 9th seed. So I think there's 2 or 3 other pairings the Americans have in the round.
We were watching badminton, and I'm like, how is this an Olympic event?
But I thought that too. But it was like exciting to watch the
really?
Badminton. Like, dude, did you see how high in the air those guys were jumping to hit that shuttlecock? As like a spike, That was the craziest one.
That would make me mad if I jumped up and hit that thing so hard and it started off really fast and then the wind just slowed.
That's what it does, though.
The thing just slows down. It's crazy.
Hey, make that thing a solid device where it keeps the speed. Now I want to see what happens.
TSG, you talk about how is this an Olympic sport? Today, I saw mixed doubles ping pong.
Mixed doubles ping pong.
So
that's an Olympic sport.
That's crazy.
I just think of Forrest Gump. I mean, that's all I could think of.
Well, this would be Forrest Gump and Jenny playing against Lieutenant Dan and somebody else.
Yeah,
Mrs. Lieutenant Dan.
Okay,
I don't know. What I find interesting is that B-Love actually worked in the word shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock.
I'm pretty sure he didn't know what that thing was called until yesterday when he watched.
100% did. 100%.
Okay.
What would make ping pong?
I'm going to use that tomorrow night. I'm going to work that in.
What would make that really cool is like what they used to do in hockey, where they had the yellow thing on the puck. If they did that with the ping pong,
wow.
Man. I know a lot of other guys out there that are a little younger and do other things that would watch that for a while too.
The ping pong goes super fast. Like there's never really a rally, there's not like, in tennis, there's a rally. It's going back and forth. There was a bit of that in badminton too, but in this mixed doubles ping pong, it was like they were fast points. The game moved really, really fast.
I was disappointed by fencing as well. That's not a whole lot of back. When you see on TV, you like ting, 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 they're back and forth. Going forward and backward, it's 1, 2, done.
It's a dance, yeah. All it is dancing. They should change it to dancing.
Come on, that's not sword fighting.
I don't know. To me, the Olympics has a little bit of a different feel this year than it's had in the past, and I think some of that's because by the way, I do not feel that the best athletes in the world are at this specific Olympic Games. So it's almost like it's the consolation Olympic Games to some degree, and I just think obviously, we're all tired of COVID. It wrecks a lot of things, but we were talking to Ram, the golfer. He was supposed to play in the Olympics, and he had to withdraw because he tested positive for COVID. This is the same guy who, 6 weeks ago, tested positive for COVID with a 6-shot lead after the 3rd round of a PGA tournament.
Right.
How does that happen?
He doesn't have COVID. He still has the markers in his body, from when he actually had it probably 6 months ago, but he didn't have COVID then. And I'd be willing to bet all your shares of GE that he doesn't have COVID now. So he's going.
Well, they're going to be less shares of GE apparently this week. So anyway,
hey,
go ahead. Somebody was about to say something.
I was just going to say, Courtney's been blowing up my phone. He wants everyone to know 2 things. Number one, there are 8.8 billion shares of GE stock. And I think he had said like 6. 8.8 billion. After the reverse split, there'll be 1.1 billion shares. And he wants everyone to know that it's time to start buying EXPI again right now. And he'll explain that.
That's a great update.
Sweet.
Immediate right there. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I've already got some holdings in that, and I'm always looking for an excuse to, get some more.
Spend money.
Bought it.
And I'm still banking on Novavax, NVAX.
Oh.
This is the week. The July 30th is coming. He said, by the July. So get ready.
I thought it was going to happen last week. It was
this stock drives me crazy, man. It's like some days I'm like, yes, and then like 2 days later you'll be like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And it's big swings, thousands of dollars. Big swings.
I almost sold on Wednesday for a small loss just to get out of it because it was the highest. It was the highest it's been in months.
You gotta go for the ride. You gotta go.
I don't like the ride. I want to get off.
Part of the reason I'm up overall in Novavax was because I bought in the dip.
Yes.
And so those shares that I have that I bought in the dip are so profitable that the ones that I still have in the red, yes, I still have some in the red.
Oh yeah.
It makes up for it. And that's where the stockman at Courtney was talking earlier about I don't know what he called it now. I can't remember. Something about like average share price or something like that.
Oh, just got a sad face. I saw it.
Yeah, all right, that person's fired.
We are done, right? We hit our hour. We're gonna we'll save all these conversations for next Sunday, 7:00, when we will be back. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and like this content or like this video if this is the kind of content you like to see, and ring the bell so you'll know every time we post a video just like this one, or maybe a music video. Little
foreshadowing.
If you want to see Chief sing, this is your chance.
Get ready.
This will be the most epic music video of all time.
It's gonna be great.
This is going to be the one that makes us famous.
Let's hope. I'm marking the tape on this one. All right, everyone. We'll see you again next Sunday at 7:00. Say goodnight, Chief.
Hey, B-Love, it's dollar cost averaging.
Ooh.
Boom. There you go. Thank you.
Good night.